Homes for sale are rapidly disappearing, and Washington State is going backwards on COVID restrictions. We're going to get into all of what that means right now in this episode of Tat Nation. Hello, everyone. My name is Connor Phelan. I am the marketing coordinator here at the Top Agent team, joined today by Kyle Nash. And today, we want to discuss what's going on in the housing market on a national level and in the Spokane area. So, as most of you know, you'll see in the numbers here, new listings have gone down 4 consecutive weeks in a row. I believe we've been in the negative. So homes are coming off the market. You know, they're disappearing. We'll throw a chart up on the screen right now just so you could see the decline of people, wanting to sell at this time. So, Kyle, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, so I'll just run over the numbers real quick. So all actives last week, we saw a net loss of 43. New listings, a net loss of 15. Pendings, a net loss of 17. And closed, a net loss of 13. So this week is the first week that I've actually seen all categories are now down. So that's really the sign that, yep, we're in that winter season, and it'll be a little bit slower now. So, yeah.
So this was a quote from the Realtor magazine here. It says, while winter may be typically a slow season in real estate, economists predict it isn't likely to happen this year. Low inventory combined with high demand due to record low mortgage rates are sending buyers in a market and the market into a flurry. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's another one from the NAR. There's no shortage of hopeful potential buyers, but inventory is historically low.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of rinse and repeat. There's a lot of quotes in this post. I'll leave in the description that you guys can go read. But I mean the chart. I mean it's going like this. I mean this is a slow season like that.
Yeah.
Like that magazine was saying. But it's getting lower and lower. And we kind of want to explain what that means for buyers and sellers. So starting with buyers, Kyle, what would you say a market with low inventory means for a buyer?
Yeah, so it's supply and demand, right? So when supply is low, demand is high. And generally when demand is high, prices go higher and higher. So that's why people have been seeing that, we've had record-setting average home prices just keep going up. I think I saw some number like just this year we're up like 20% or something crazy. So it's a lot. And yeah, it's just because there's just low inventory. I mean, it's what I've seen is there's still a ton of homes getting sold. There's just still more buyers. And so the way I've sort of explained this, and I hope it's not too confusing, but you have a lake, right? And all the people, all the listings are the fish in the lake. So if there's less fish in the lake, that's it's harder to get one, right? But there's still just as many fishermen trying to get that fish, right? So at the same point, when you make the lake bigger, hopefully you get some more fish in there. So depending on the season, you're gonna have more listings and all that stuff. But generally, there's still the same amount of fishermen hanging out trying to get a fish, right? So, it is a lot of people, a lot of buyers especially do kind of, I don't want to say give up because that sounds negative. They stop looking in the wintertime because there are a lot of, there are some negatives to moving in the wintertime. There's, especially in Spokane, you got winter weather that you have to deal with. It's not necessarily the easiest, especially with schools and having to move families and all that kind of stuff. That is what's more difficult. So again, that's why you see the spring and summertime more busy. However, you start to get this different market, and because home prices are still pretty low in Spokane, comparatively to the rest of Washington, you're still looking at, one season. Investors are really looking, which is generally the winter and the fall and the winter time. Investors are looking, so you still have a lot of buyers that are now that market looking for good deals in the time that most other buyers are sort of out of the market.
Right?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I've seen that, we still have a ton of clientele that are families trying to get into homes. And we also have a ton of clientele that it's like you get one category and usually they're kind of balanced out. But right now it sort of feels like, okay, well, in the wintertime, it's like all the investors are wanting to buy. So that weighs a little bit more than the families wanting to move. So that generally is the way I've seen it happen in Spokane.
Right.
So,
And just to sum that up, too, it says here, just be prepared to make a competitive offer from the start and understand how the shortage in inventory has led to more bidding wars.
yeah.
Are you experiencing a lot of bidding wars? I mean, with buyers, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it's still slowing down. I'm not seeing 20, 30 offers anymore. I'm seeing probably 5 to 6, something like that, depending on the house. And obviously, the lower the price, or not the lower the price range, but if it's closer to the average price range, it's going to be more competitive.
Yeah, and yeah, just get with the top agent to calculate just how far you're willing to go, and we'll help you map that out.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears really quick into what's going on with COVID-19. I don't know if they're gonna monetize us for that, but just want to talk about the restrictions that we have in real estate. From what I got out of our meeting, everything's still on.
It's still the same. They just canceled open houses at this point.
So no open houses. No one was really doing open houses.
We had like one that got scheduled, and then all of a sudden it's like, and I think there's like a 2-week period where we are actually able to do open houses, and now it's cut back.
So how many people can be in the house at once?
It's 5 still.
5 people.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Nothing changed, just no open houses. And I think these restrictions are just going on for like 4 weeks. So by the end of December, I mean,
December 14th is the day.
As of right now, just 4 weeks. So
yep.
Yeah, Facebook, don't demonetize us for that. I'd appreciate it.
Yep.
We're just trying to keep our clients here updated at the top agent team. So shifting gears back to what it means that homes for sale are rapidly decreasing. What does it mean for a seller, in your opinion?
I think for a seller, you really need to know what your plan is, and that's a lot of sellers are also in the same boat because generally they are buyers at a certain point. So I think we said that last week. What was the phrase? If I sell, or no, where do I go? What was that phrase? We said it last week, and it was a rhyme, and I can't remember it. Dang it. That's right. So
we got to go watch that episode again.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing that sellers need to be prepared for. They need to have a plan, and that's what an agent is here to help you with. Is say, okay, let's make a plan.
Right.
We don't need to necessarily if an agent is going to come by and sell you and be sort of the salesperson and say you need to put your home on the market now, but they don't help you come up with a plan on where to go. I don't know if they're really representing you the best. I think there's a lot of options. I think there's things you need to consider if you're looking at selling. You need to know, okay, where do I go?
Right.
Because I'm going to be a buyer. Yeah. So again, a lot of the time you're finding investors. So investors also are selling to investors in this period. So like in the winter and fall time, investors are also looking to unload some of their properties because they know that other investors are going to come in and buy them. So generally, these can be all cash deals a lot of the time. Quick close, they just take over the lease and make sure that they're all good to go if it's a rental property. Right. So that's a lot of the sales that I see happening now versus, again, you're going to see spring and summertime, you're going to see families starting to move in general.
Yeah,
first-time home buyers. So
yeah, it just says here, like as a seller, you're in the driver's seat.
Yep.
Don't be unreasonable, but understand you probably have the upper hand. In this market. Yeah,
I mean that's the thing is there's a huge point to be said about being greedy too. It's like you get the highest offer and you really need to look. You need to have an agent to represent you, or not represent, but you need to have an agent go through all of these offers and really show you why some are more attractive than others. Because honestly, like that's one thing I've found is sometimes the highest priced offer is not always the one that wins. Sometimes if I know that the buyer's agent is contacting me and wanting to talk to me about, hey, what do your sellers need? That's something that I always say. I think every agent needs to be talking to the listing agent. If you submit an offer and you didn't even call that agent and you never really talked to them at all, that I don't think that's. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think it would be good to do that. I would encourage all agents to be in communication because this is a cooperation. So I think that's something that I've struggled with in the past. Is agents have sent me email of an offer and then I have no background on it and I'm trying to make the best. I'm trying to help my seller make the best decision and go over all the offers with them and. If that's the case, and I haven't heard from a agent sort of vetting their buyer a little bit more, it's tough to say, well, this agent has been in communication with me, so I know a little bit, and I know that they're going to be working with me where I don't know if these other agents are if they're ever going to reach out to me or anything like that, and I send them, okay, hey, we got it signed around, and I send them a copy of it. If I've never talked to them, I can't really vet their buyer or anything like that. So there's also a little ownership on the listing agent side to probably call, but generally, just like a seller, you're getting a ton of offers. So is it my expectation that I should call every single person that sends me an offer, or do you think the buyer's agent should do their job and represent their buyer and vet them?
Right.
So I think there's part of that. So yes, sellers are in the driver's seat, and they understand that they have the upper hand. Also, don't have to be super generous, but make it not necessarily a great deal for the buyer, but you don't also want to run them over and steamroll them the entire time. You want to give them...
Just don't be unreasonable.
Yeah, you want to give them something.
Straight up. Yeah.
So...
Well, that's it for this week's podcast. Yeah. The experts say the housing market will remain strong throughout the winter and heading into the spring.
Nope.
Know what this means for you, whether you're buying, selling, or doing both. Get with the top agent today.
Yep.
We'll see you next week.
Cheeseburgers. We're going to go get some cheeseburgers.
Last time for a month.
That's the last time for the month. So, yeah. Union is... All restaurants and bars are closing down tonight for Wednesday, and they'll still do some takeout, but... I'm getting hungry for a cheeseburger.
We're going to get burgers on the show.
Yep. That's why I'm drinking from my cheeseburger mug. So, all right. See you guys next week.